Good evening. Today's lesson is lesson 3-7, Practice Multiplying Multi-Digit Numbers. I can use properties and the standard algorithm for multiplication to find the product of multi-digit numbers. Press pause now to write the lesson number and title in your notebooks, as well as the I can statement. When you're ready to resume the video, press play. Today's problem is, which of the two car payment options will cost less for 1 year? How much less? Solve this problem any way you choose. Show all of your work. So notice that all the information we need to solve this problem is in the graph on the picture. We have car payment options, which is left blank because that's what we need to solve for, and then it gives us the information we need to solve. The monthly amount payment would be $325, and the quarterly amount is $952. Think about what you know, pause the video to solve the problem, and then push play when you're ready to see how to solve it, if it's like yours or different. Okay, welcome back. Let's solve this problem to figure out the answer in which you can figure out which car payment would be the best option. First, I'm going to use cubes. It says circle the numbers. In this problem, the numbers are in this graph. First, I have $325 for the monthly amount, and then I have $952 for the quarterly amount. Underline the question. So, the first one is, which of the two car payment options will cost less for over a year? Now there's a second question. How much less? So I know now that this is going to be a two-step problem. Next, we need to box the keywords. It says, which of the two, so I know that I need to solve for both of those answers, cost less, so I can figure out and compare which one would be better. And then just to solve. So I have a lot of thinking to do on this problem and planning how to solve it. When it says evaluate, the first thing I need to think about is it's asking me how much or which one costs less. My first part to solving this problem is thinking the monthly amount. So I know that in 1 year, there are 12 months. Sorry, that's my writing. 1 year equals 12 months. So one of my options is going to be $325 each month. Sorry, that's so weird too. That is going to be one of my payment options. The next option is going to be quarterly. Now, when I see quarterly, I think I see the keyword quarter, which means fourth or 4. So I know for this option that in 1 year, there's 4 parts to the year, so that would be 4 payments. So then it would be $952 times 4, because I would make that payment 4 times a year. The next step would be to solve each one of these problems. And I'm going to choose to use the standard algorithm. I'm going to multiply my ones place first in this problem. 5 times 2 is 10. Bring over the 1 because now I have 0 ones and 1 whole 10. 2 times 2 is 4, adding the 1 that I brought over, which would be 5. And then 3 times 2 equals 6 in my hundreds place. Next, I'm going to add my tens place right here on the second number. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 1 is 2. And then 3 times 1 is 3. and then I want to add those together. 0 plus no number, which would be 0, is 0. 5 plus 5 is 10. I have my 0. Carry the 1 over. 1 plus 6 is 7. That number 7 plus 2 is 9. And then I have my 3. So I know the first option for my payment would be $3,900. That is for monthly. Next, I want to solve what the payment would be if I would pay quarterly. I'm going to go to this problem. $952 times 4, because you would pay 4 times a year. 2 times 4 is 8. 5 times 4 is 20. I have my 0 in this place because I have 0 ones. Bring my 2 tens over. And then 9 times 4 is 36, plus 2 is 38, making this answer total $3,808. So quarterly payment would be $3,808. So that's how I solved the first part of the problem. Remember, the first question asked which of the two would cost less for 1 year. So I need to compare which is less, $3,900 or $3,808. I know that $3,808 is less because in my hundreds place, 8 is less than 9. So now the next question we need to solve is how much less? So I need to find the difference between the two numbers. I'm going to go to the top of my page since I'm running out of room. So I have the bigger number on top, 3,900 minus 3,808. And now I need to solve. I have 0 minus 8. I can't do that because 0 is smaller than 8. I need to go to my tens place to borrow, but I can't do that either because I have nothing to borrow from. So now I have to go to the hundreds place to borrow. Oops. To borrow 100. I bring that, so I have 10 groups of 10. Now I can borrow from there. Make that a 9. And now I have 10 ones. 10 minus 8 is 2. 9, in the tens place I have 9 minus 0 equals 9. My hundreds place I have 8 minus 8 equals 0. And then in the thousands I have 3 minus 3 equals 0. So the difference in the payments is $92. So $92 is how much less it is to pay quarterly. So if I were making these payments, I would choose the quarterly option. Let's see how other students solve this problem. This is Tamara's work. It asks, what strategy did Tamara use to solve this problem? She used multiplication to find the car payments in terms of 1 year for each option, just like I did. And then she found the difference between the total 2 payments for the year. So she was very similar in her work than me. She first solved for the 12 months, then she solved for the quarterly, and then after she had the 2 totals for each, she solved for the difference. Next, let's look at Scott's work. It says, is Scott's work correct? How did Scott solve the problem? Take a look at this for a second to see what you can find and how it was incorrect. It looks like Scott didn't do all the work he needed to do. All he did was take a separate month amount and he took the quarterly amount and then he subtracted to find the difference. Scott did not consider how much cost it would be to pay throughout the year. He just took each segment individually and used subtraction. Next, I want you to take a look at your work to see how you solved it. Did you solve it the same? Did you solve it differently? Were your answers incorrect or correct? Remember, either way, it's okay. We just want you to be able to think about your work, how you solved it, and learn from it. Be ready to share your problem-solving method in class tomorrow. Have a good night.